I'm going to cover some of the top pitfalls that independent musicians encounter. I've been doing this for over 20 years as a vocalist, as a producer. I've played in bands, multiple instruments. I've seen different sides of it. And whether you're getting into your music journey or if you've been doing it for a while and you're trying to figure out if this is something that you still want to continue to do, there's a lot you need to think about. Number one, when you're getting into the journey and you're considering if this is the path for you, if music is the route you want to go, you have to first ask, do you love it? How much do you love it? Because there are so many better ways that you can make a living. There's other ways that you can spend your time. It's one of the most competitive hobbies and businesses in the world. And it's not known for paying well unless you're at the very top elite of the musicians. So you also need to figure out, do you want to be making your own original music? Do you want to be, let's say you could be a session player, you could be a music producer, do you want to be a vocalist? My recommendation when you're getting into music is that you first just figure out what you love. How much do you really love it? What do you obsess over? What genres? Listen to lots of different music, and I recommend that people try to play lots of different instruments now. A lot of that is lost where a lot of people don't actually even play their instruments anymore. It's, you know, if you're an electronic, you might just be a DJ. If you're a rapper, you might just be doing vocals. But I think it matters a lot if you understand the music aspect by at least trying to play some instruments. If you're not gonna be a producer, at least try to have made some beats. If you're not a vocalist, at least try to have written some songs. The most important thing I can think of for any song is actually the songwriting aspect. It's really more important than anything. It's the song, the emotion, the feel that people get when they're listening to your music, when they're engaged with it. And that's what gets them back listening again. And if you don't have that connection, then you don't have anything. Now, that's changed a lot over the years where song structures used to be much longer. You used to have much longer songs. There wasn't as much competing for your attention. So the way that you think about songwriting might be much different now in the year that you're watching this. So you have to think about also when you're getting into the mechanics of, number one, make music because you love it. Figure out what you want to do, what's important to you. And then I would look at, where's your music going to be consumed? You start to understand and develop your identity, your brand, and what's important to you. And you figure that out through experimentation. And the people that you listen to early on are almost always going to have the most important influences on you. They're going to shape how your music sounds, but you always need to learn to innovate and to make more with the sound that you have. So you should hone in eventually on a niche and a style, but early days you want to experiment. You start to think about, there's the business side of music. Also, is this something that you want to go to school for? Or do you want to blaze your own path and make your own way on it? There's no right or wrong answer, but I would definitely not recommend that you spend an enormous amount on a very expensive school or university for music, because the salary, the income that you're likely to get from it just isn't there. Not unless it's not a big deal from you. You have a family, then you can afford that. So you have to look at it. There's the music business, and then there's a creative side of the business. And that's always been at odds, and it's always going to be. It's in any creative-oriented area. And you have to decide, is this a hobby, a thing that you want to do? You just want to make stuff because you love it? Are you trying to just get famous? Do you want to just make the best music possible? Do you just want to live the lifestyle? Do you want all of it? What is it? Like, what's interesting to you? Figure that out. Once you figure that out deep within you, because some people think that they want to be famous and they want to be on stage, and then they get on stage and they're so nervous and they realize, okay, they should actually be in the studio, just making it, because they love the meticulous engineering side. And the engineering side is such a different aspect to it, but so many people really love it, where you're actually crafting the sound, where you're choosing microphones, you're choosing plugins, hardware, software that's being used. And I think people forget what I've seen from all the years, that the recording eventually, once you get to that level, is so important for what you do. Because I hear famous songs even now where live, I typically like live music better, but when you hear the live version, like recorded on YouTube or something, I'll realize like that person really doesn't sound nearly as good in that version. But they sounded excellent in that recording, and that recording is what lasts forever. So eventually, once you get to that level, the quality, the mixing, the mastering, the everything that goes into that recording, if you're gonna put budget behind it, you'll learn eventually about advertisements and how to reach people and how to connect. That's gonna be so important. All of these aspects. And as you're growing as a musician, you're gonna know, obviously social media is a huge aspect of it, but it's more than just creating content. There's content that's engaging, there's developing your brand, your identity. All of these things are important, and they create that ecosystem around yourself, your music, your band, whatever it is that you have. After you experiment and you learn a lot from what types of posts work, what types of posts don't. For example, just basic live performance isn't going to be that engaging if nobody cares about you. You're going to learn about editing styles, color correction, how to phrase things and cut and edit them in an efficient way. And it depends on which platform you're on, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you're using. Each of them is a little bit different in their approach for the types of users that you have on it and how you get it out. And ultimately, you have to realize that as a musician in the modern era, in the social media era, is you aren't just doing music anymore, you are doing your marketing. And in reality, it's always been like that. Even when we had the labels, and back, even pre maybe like 2000, before you had the real digital rise, it still was people going to radio stations, hustling on the street, connecting with people. That stuff is still important in the aspect of going to events, networking, meeting people, getting people that care about you, your story, and your journey. It's not just about the music like a lot of us want it to be, but now we're talking about you're building yourself as a brand, you're building yourself as an identity, and that goes beyond, and that transcends the music in a way and brings it to a different level. So there's some artists who are really just about the music, and that can work in certain genres, certain niches, but the visual aspect of it, whether it be showing yourself or it's not, but it's packaged in a way that gives it the feeling, the vibe, the energy, whatever that is, it shows that artistically. So that's why really being an independent musician now, you have to be so many things. You have to understand songs, you have to understand writing, the actual production side of it, the marketing, social media. Then you're doing connections. Then once you get to the level, you have to understand your live performance. How do you make your live sets? How do you do the sound? Make sure it sounds good on these big systems and your backups are tight. However you're doing that, or if it's 100% live, do you loop things in, cut things out? Do you have any samples? What is that going to be? All that stuff you figure out through practice and iteration over time, but you need to do it in steps. So you need to first identify what your true passion is and what side of it you want to be on. How serious do you want to be? Do you just want to do it for fun? Do you really want to do it for a living? If you're super serious about it, then you got to go all in on, number one, try to make your music the best it can be. And there's some people who are just fun. They're crazy bands, they're crazy individuals or rappers where they just have a personality, and maybe their actual skill might not be as great, but they are great at building a crowd. And so you can lean on that, but you should recognize what strategy you have, what strengths you have, what weaknesses you have, because it's going to be different for everyone. And once you get that, lean into what works. Again, experiment, try things in real life, try things online, and see what the feedback is. But you do have to have that motivation and dedication within yourself, because you're going to receive so much shit online, so much hate, usually just from random people who don't have anything going on in their life. And especially when it's anonymous and they don't know you, it's how it is. The thing is, you have to figure out what is worth listening to and what is not worth listening to. If you believe in yourself and what you're trying to do more than anyone else, you can make it happen. But there is some level where this happens a lot with artists, where you get too big-headed. The same thing that might get you to where you are can be the detriment in its own way. Basically, you spent all this time and this fortitude believing in yourself, and now when it's time, let's say an engineer comes in and you're using a really bad technique and it's not resulting in the best audio, or maybe you're not the best at marketing, but you just want to focus on the music, but you're really serious about getting it out to a lot of people, and so you don't listen to that advice and that feedback. That can come from a variety of different ways, but the feedback that I want is from people who have already done it and know what the hell they're talking about. That's typically what I care about, because even sometimes when fans say that they want things, or they like this, or they wanted it XYZ, but you can look at the numbers and that might not support it. Some people say it, the most vocal amount of people will say that they want something or are interested in it, but then it's not actually a reality. So these are just things that you need to think about and decide, do you want to be a live performing act? Do you want to be in a studio? Do you just want to record things at home? Are you okay doing a lot solo? Do you want to do it as a social thing? Do you want to do it as a hobby thing? Do you want to do it as a business thing? Ask yourself these questions and let me know what is the thing that drives you in the comments below.